Hey guys, are you ready to transform your mind so you can transform your life? Coach Myrna brings you one-on-one coaching and expert guests weekly to help you to grow. Because happiness is the progressive realization of a worthy goal.
Looking for personal growth? Let's do it. You know you want to start a business. What you may not know is how to make it a reality. GoDaddy Arrow's got you. It uses AI to help you find the domain name that's right for you. Next, answer a few prompts, and with a couple of clicks, Arrow will design a professional-looking website and storefront in minutes. Arrow can even help you stay engaged with your customers. Just attach a professional email that matches your domain. With GoDaddy Arrow, you can build a business without having to know a thing about this stuff. Just visit GoDaddy.com to get started. That's GoDaddy.com. Premium features required, paid subscription. See terms on site.
There's a lesser known variant of immunotherapy based on part of our immune system called the natural killer cell activity. Natural killer cells sounds dangerous, right? They sound like they're going to hurt us, but they don't.
That's great.
So we have in our bodies a small percentage of our white blood cell system, probably no more than a couple percent. And these are specific cells called natural killer cells, and their job is a security system in the body. They go around, identify abnormal cells, and kill them, remove them without harming our normal cells. So during our life, they're very active. If you have an infected cell, they remove it. If you have a zombie cell, which is also called a senescent cell, which is a cell that's divided and done dividing, done with its job, but hanging out, just sitting on your couch, eating potato chips, using your resources, but not giving back to the community, it'll remove those because those are toxic and leaky. And also it removes cancer cells. And during our life, we make accidental cancer cells.
Welcome back to the Transform Your Mind to Transform Your Life radio, podcast, and television show. I'm your host, Life Coach Myrna Young, and sitting in the guest chair today is Dr. Jeff Gross. Dr. Gross and I are going to be talking on the topic using natural killer cells in a non-toxic alternative to chemotherapy and radiation. Wow, I am so interested in having this conversation. As I was preparing for it, I said to myself, everybody's always saying there's all this money is going into cancer research. Why haven't they found a cure? What are they doing? So this is some of the technology I'm assuming that's coming out of cancer research. So I can't wait to share this information with you. So welcome, Dr. Gross.
Thank you so much. Great to be here.
You're very welcome. All right, so let me give you guys a brief introduction. Dr. Jeffrey Gross graduated from the University of California at Berkeley with a degree in biochemistry and molecular cell biology. He earned his Doctor of Medicine in 1992 from George Washington University School of Medicine. He is the founder of ReCelebrate and a pioneer in regenerative stem cell and exosome medicine. With decades of experience transitioning from traditional neurosurgery to advanced cellular therapies, Dr. Gross is now one of the very few specialists in the country with access to activated natural killer called NK, cell-derived exosomes, a breakthrough in cancer treatment and immune enhancement. So as we get started, Jeff, let's talk about what exactly are activated NK natural killer, I love that term, cell-derived exosomes. So you can tell us what exosomes is and then what these natural killer cells are, unless they're one and the same.
No, they're not. So thank you for that. So this is a very niche, specific subset of a field we call regenerative medicine. And regenerative medicine is the field involving stem cells. Well, we have learned, because I do quite a bit of this for various things, we have learned that stem cells are the producers of signaling molecules in a packet of information that is transmitted out of the stem cell to our cells. And when you do a stem cell therapy, our cells end up doing the work. They just needed the reminder of how to do it. And that reminder comes in this signaling. So one of the best signaling a cell gives to its neighbor is through a small packet of information with a little bit of a membrane that it borrows from the cell, and it's chock full of peptides and growth factors and proteins and microRNAs, and that is called an extracellular vesicle, or for short, an exosome. So we use a lot of stem cell-derived exosomes for our various treatments because they're really doing the work of the stem cell, but they're a lot less expensive, so we like them. There are some other advantages as well. Well, I was using this, and I still do, for many things. Inflammatory type issues we help people with, joint degeneration, arthritis, bone on bone, in people who want to try to avoid a joint replacement, and other things. However, we didn't, for a long time, have something for people with cancer. And when you go into medicine, one of the most noble things that you always have to do is to help people suffering, right? That's part of the Hippocratic Oath. And treating cancer patients with new and logical treatments with fewer side effects could be game changing. So there's a subset of regenerative medicine called immunotherapy, and this is a strategic tapping into the immune system to re-energize the immune system against a cancer, right? And there are many different types of immune treatments, like you can make a vaccine against cancer, or you can activate cells, T cells, which are part of the white blood cell system, to attack cancer. That's called CAR T therapy. There are others. Well, there's a lesser known variant of immunotherapy based on part of our immune system called the natural killer cell activity. Natural killer cells sounds dangerous, right? They sound like they're going to hurt us, but they don't.
That's great.
So we have in our bodies a small percentage of our white blood cell system, probably no more than a couple percent. And these are specific cells called natural killer cells, and their job is a security system in the body. They go around, identify abnormal cells, and kill them, remove them without harming our normal cells. So during our life, they're very active. If you have an infected cell, they remove it. If you have a zombie cell, which is also called a senescent cell, which is a cell that's divided and done dividing, done with its job, but hanging out, just sitting on your couch eating potato chips, using your resources, but not giving back to the community, it'll remove those because those are toxic and leaky. And also it removes cancer cells. And during our life, we make accidental cancer cells. We just do. And they get removed. It's only when that system gets depleted, it's not as active, and our cells lose their functioning as they're exposed to the world around us, the inflammatory stresses of the world. So as they can become depleted in number and in quality function, we can, a tumor cell can escape the ability of the system to remove it, and then you get cancer. And if you look at cancer patients and study their natural killer cells, they have fewer natural killer cells, and they're usually not as effective. Okay, well, gosh, it makes sense to me then, if I could give someone back that function, maybe we could treat the cancer or help treat it. So we have been studying the natural killer cell system, and we have found that natural killer cells do their killing, good killing, by virtue of their own special exosomes. They make these little vesicles, and the vesicles are taken in preferentially, selectively by the abnormal cells, not normal cells. Normal cells are like, pass on by. We don't want any solicitors here. So natural killer cell exosomes contain enzymes that go into the recipient abnormal cell, like a cancer cell, and cause it to lyse, which means cut open, rupture, and then the cell is dead and the body recycles the contents. So
Wow.
gosh, if we could get those natural killer cell exosomes, they could be a cool treatment. And I'm not the first to think of this. I studied the research, and it turns out that there have been wonderful studies using them both intravenous and directly injected into a tumor with high selectivity and high kill rate
Mm.
without side effects, without causing any type of problems that, we might see with chemotherapy or radiation therapy. And there are roles for chemotherapy and radiation still, of course, but the strategy with those is to kill the cancer faster than you kill the person, right? So, because they're poisonous, they have side effects. So,
Okay,
we-
good. I was thinking of all the questions I have from that little introduction. But anyway, you have more. Go on.
a last bit, and I'm sorry, I didn't mean to like take over your show, but the last bit is it took us quite some time to get our hands on some of these natural killer cell exosomes, or NK exosomes, because they are so difficult to come by. You have to separate out the natural killer cells, which are very difficult to get enough of, get them to survive in a petri dish type environment, usually a flask, in a culture medium, where they thrive, and then have them produce exosomes and then be able to separate those out. This is a lot of work that goes involved. So we finally were able to get some earlier this year, and now have been offering it to patients as an alternative or an adjunct, an add-on therapy. And we've been using it both IV and injectable.
Wow. Okay. All right. So the first question I have is regarding stem cells. Now, from what I knew about stem cells, it is it has a purpose, like a stem cell for a muscle, a stem cell for something, but I always thought they were building blocks. I mean, I didn't think that they had like a white blood cell killer um DNA kind of thing. DNA is not the right word, but you know what I'm talking about. So can you explain how the exosomes are coming from the stem cells?
Well, this is separate from the natural killer cell exosome. I use the exosome description from stem cells because we use those for so many things, not cancer. And it's why there's been this sort of renewed interest in studying these vesicles, these exosomes.
Okay.
So
So the exosomes are not stem cells labeled.
right. We have stem cell exosomes for all kinds of other things, separate from the natural killer exosomes.
Ah, all right. So that's one of the first things. Okay, all right. So so you talked a lot there about what it does, and the white blood cells, which are the T cells. I've heard of T cells before because it's part of the white blood cell things, right?
Right.
So I mean, wow. So now that I've understood that it's not stem cells, then I guess yeah, that explanation covers all my questions. I mean, of how what you're doing. What you're doing, and I'm now understanding it. So that is absolutely amazing, which is why I was so excited about talking to you. Now, you also said, of course, we lose more T cells, or we lose more as we get older, and that's probably one of the reasons why cancer is an aging disease, correct?
Yes.
So,
Yeah.
um,
I agree.
Okay, so how does one of the questions I have here, how does NK cell exosomes naturally protect the body from cancer, and why do they weaken with age? So,
Yeah, I mean, listen, all our cells weaken both in number and in quality with age, because our cells are susceptible to inflammatory stresses and damages. And we use the word inflammatory or inflammation sort of vaguely, but what this is, it's a chronic sort of degenerative accumulation of junk,
mhm.
molecular biochemical junk in our cells. And it happens from things we shouldn't be eating, things in our food source, preservatives, seed oils, things in our air, pollutants, things in the water that we may not even be aware of, microplastics, And then electromagnetic stresses and bad thoughts, neurological and psychological stresses, and maybe lack of exercise and things like this. So there's so many reasons why our cells inflame at different rates, and we all age at different rates, and that affects all of this, all the organs, and increases the susceptibility to cancer. So the natural killer cell loses their function during this time, which sort of makes us more susceptible to the cancer sort of escaping that sentry system.
You know you want to start a business. What you may not know is how to make it a reality. GoDaddy Arrow's got you. It uses AI to help you find the domain name that's right for you. Next, answer a few prompts, and with a couple of clicks, Arrow will design a professional-looking website and storefront in minutes. Arrow can even help you stay engaged with your customers. Just attach a professional email that matches your domain. With GoDaddy Arrow, you can build a business without having to know a thing about this stuff. Just visit GoDaddy.com to get started. That's GoDaddy.com. Premium features required paid subscription. See terms on site. Yes, yes. You know, it's really interesting. I mean, I just found out about seed oils. In fact, I have a whole big bottle in my kitchen right now, and I said I'm not throwing it away. But nothing anymore. Because I just found out about how bad seed oils are. I didn't even know that until about a month ago or something. But yeah, I understand the inflammation. I understand the fact that as we age, which is why a lot of the chronic illnesses come with age. They're calling it a disease or whatever. But
Yes.
the first part of the question was, how does the NK cell exomes protect the body from cancer? How would they do that?
Yeah. Well, again, they're like a security system roaming throughout our body, looking for cells that will accept them, and only cells that are accept them are these abnormal ones, the infected ones, the zombie ones, the cancer ones. So they're basically just bumping around like at a party, looking for the person they're supposed to meet.
That's
You know,
great.
that's how they work. But you get fewer of them, and they're less efficacious as we become inflamed and degenerated and aged.
Right, right. Yeah, I can just imagine that. So that's amazing. Yeah, I'm trying to think of a conversation where I had with this. Now, I do know about the senescent cells and the zombie cells. So maybe we can talk about that right
We should.
now.
Yeah. So there was a study using natural killer cells. They took some patients and they gave them natural killer cells in an IV. And those natural killer cells made natural killer cell exosomes. And they did some blood tests before and after, up to 2 years, and showed that the zombie cell marker, and for those of your listeners that are, you know, science nerds like me, the marker is called beta galactosidase. It's a leaking enzyme from these cells. So they noticed that the NK cell therapy significantly reduced that enzyme, which is an age marker, effectively making these people have a younger population of cells, making them biologically younger for up to 2 years. So,
Nice.
so when people say, "Oh, you can't be made younger," well, we can make your cell behavior biochemically younger.
Younger.
That should reduce inflammation, reduce disease formation, slow the aging process, even though your birthday is still the same
I
day.
know, yeah, your chronological age and your biological age. I am well aware of that.
Right.
So, right, yeah, well, the number in the calendar doesn't have anything to do because it can be worse and it can be better. There's some
Right.
people that are 50 that's got a 70-year-old cells, and there are people that are
Yep.
70 that's got a 35-year-old cell.
Yep.
So I understand that totally. Now I remember where I heard about the senescent cells and the zombie cells. Apparently, if you do autophagy, fasting,
Yep.
It gets rid of them too, correct?
It does help significantly. So all forms of hormesis means a slight stress on your cells to build cellular resilience. So fasting, usually a 3-day fast, you need to really reboot your immune system. Hot sauna, repetitive hot sauna use. The studies are amazing about the health benefits. Cold exposure, like a cold plunge therapy, and high intensity exercise. Those types of things will cause you to go through autophagy, where you get rid of these yucky cells, you shed them. Then your cell population is younger by default.
Wow, I like that. The only one from that list is the sauna that I use, but I certainly don't do it every day. But yeah, I've heard about the sauna, and I know everybody's talking about the cold plunge, and Dr. Atia is talking about the exercise
Yeah.
and exercising, and I think, what does he call it, zone 2 or something. So I've heard about them, but I did not hear of them with autophagy. The only one that I've heard about with autophagy and getting rid of your senescent cells or your zombie cells is the 3-day fast. So
Yep.
thank you for that new information.
Yep. Of course. Yeah. And you want not only autophagy, you want mitophagy, not only to get rid of the yucky cells, but even in the good cells, you want to get rid of the yucky mitochondria and have new young mitochondria. And then your cells are even more efficient, because if you take care of your mitochondria, you're taking care of your cells.
Yes, big word. I mean, I've got listen, I talk to experts and guests like you, and I'm getting all this stuff. I've just got ES 660, I think it's called.
Yeah.
I got bottles and bottles of that. I got glutathione and bottles of that, and all these things are supposed to help with that. So I'm getting all the free stuff. This is great.
Well, listen, you got to educate yourself. Everyone out there, if you want to live healthier longer and
Yes.
support your health span,
Yes.
you have to pay attention to these things. It's not going to happen passively.
No, I know, right? You've got to do the work. Yes.
Yeah.
Amazing. Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, in your introduction, you said something that I have a question on here, is that your work with the T cells can selectively target cancer cells without harming the healthy cells. Now, we know that when we do chemotherapy, it kills everything, right? So, is for instance, my sister had a blood cancer. So I'm assuming that this can't work with blood cancers because there's no way to separate the blood. So
No,
two
no,
questions.
it works. There's benefit in blood cancers. There have been published results with natural killer cell therapies, including exosomes for blood cancers.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
How does it target it when it's in the blood? Because the blood goes everywhere. Because I'm thinking that
So do the exosomes.
target. I'm thinking when you say target that you're, I don't know, maybe you got pancreatic cancer or something and they're targeting the pancreas. So explain that. How does it selectively target and without harming the healthy tissue?
Yeah, they float around in the bloodstream if you give them in the vein, right, intravenous. They go to the heart and lungs and float around everywhere. And since most of the cells are normal, except those few cancer cells in the blood system, they'll find them. They'll partner up. They're not wallflowers at the dance. They're looking to dance.
So they're obviously able to detect the abnormal cells.
Yeah, it's a receptor-based mechanism, and the abnormal cells, get rid of, say, go away. I'm not dancing with you, and they will partner up with the cancer cells. This is not me making things up. This is based on published literature. I've written on this topic. I've spoken on this topic, lectured on it. The research. There's medical evidence to support this.
Oh yeah, I'm not doubting you at all. I mean, your bio says you're one of the few specialists in the country with access to this. So you're coming highly, you know, highly, what's the word, qualified to have this conversation. All right.
Mm.
So does that mean it can target any cancer or specific cancers?
Well, so far, everything that's been tried on, it's had some benefit. So we have yet to find a cancer that has not been targeted. Now, some cancers make evading, molecules and things, and the NK exosomes are very good about getting around that. So cancers are smart. They have evolved ways to trick the immune system in saying go away in their what's called the tumor microenvironment. So the NK exosomes are not fooled. They're probably one of the smarter attacks on cancer. Yeah.
Wow, that's amazing. So the next question logically is, when is this going to be available for public consumption? Because
It's
you said,
available.
but it just started about a year ago. I think that's what you said.
It's been available in Europe quite a bit longer and in Asia. It's available for public consumption. Of course, we're not allowed to claim that it's effective because the marketing claims are not yet approved by the FDA.
FDA. Okay.
But the people that seek this out are in the know. They've been doing their homework and they're looking for an additional thing to do or an alternative. So they just, they don't want chemotherapy. They're not going to get sick, but they want to do something. So we make this as an option for them, and we're careful. We're not allowed to make any claims, nor would I ever make a claim in treating cancer patients, of course, in terms of a guarantee. But so we want to be compliant with that.
Right. 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 I think I heard you say that it can be an add-on treatment. So if you're doing chemotherapy, you can do it together. Is that what you said? Or is it
Yeah,
either or?
we've done it. No, usually we would do it, maybe in between cycles of chemotherapy or after a round or set of cycles. We've done it for people that have a risk of cancer. Maybe they have a gene in the family and they know they're a higher risk, and we might do it as a preventative, you know,
Right.
uh, or hypothetically preventative. And then we've had people that have been fully treated for cancer. They're in remission, but they're looking at 5-year statistics, going, "Wow, I'm at high risk to get this again."
Gosh, yeah, because the thing comes back. My
Yes.
goodness.
So we would use it hopefully to assist with, promoting remission and not recurrence, right?
I love that. I love that. My goodness, yeah, because all cancer patients live with the fact that these things, come back,
Right.
right? So the fact that they can do some you know, whatever that word is, it's lost me now, but so they can go in and do, what was the word?
Oh,
Preventative. Yeah,
Yeah.
right. I just got it right. Menopause here, right? Preventative, preventative work to at least get your confidence level good. You know something? The brain and the mindset is so important. If you live with the fear that it's going to come back, you might be attracting it. But if you've got some kind of confidence level, hey, I'm attacking this thing, that I am getting rid of all the stray cells, because sometimes they don't even get them all. And I think
Yep.
that's why they come back, because they float around and they don't get them all, and then they come back in another part of the body. So if
Yep.
these T cells can go around and get them, that is a beautiful thing.
It is. I agree with you. I think you're right too, that the mindset is you can visualize, things and it stimulates, small peptides in your brain to be released in the body that also help you. So you need to use the brain. It's a powerful tool.
Oh yeah, it is. You can heal yourself with the brain. My goodness. But yes, okay. So you also mentioned again, I mean, you covered a lot of stuff in your introduction. I've just circled back as I'm going through my questions here. So I love it. You also talk that the exosomes, and I'm sure I'm still not saying it correctly, is part of immunotherapy. And you're saying that the NK cells is differing from the other immunotherapies currently available. Can
That's
you
right.
talk about what are the current immunotherapies available and how the T cells or the, exomes work differently?
Yeah. So, the most common immunotherapy for cancer, meaning using the immune system, would be to create a vaccine. So you take some of the tumor out through surgery, and you separate out the different genes, and you take that gene and you maybe put it in a virus vector that doesn't make you sick, but it gets it into your cells,
I've heard of that actually. Yeah.
and they put it back in your body. It's a lot of lab work, and they put it back in your body. Then your cells start pumping out this one little piece of the cancer. It's not causing cancer, but it's showing your immune system
What it looks
maybe
like.
some piece of it. So your immune system can then form antibodies, and then the T cells come in and make the antibodies and remove the cancer cells. So that's one approach. Another approach is this CAR T system, where you take, again, piece of the tumor out, you put the gene in a T cell, and it does something similar to that vaccine type thing. Instead of a virus, you're putting it back into T cells. A lot of lab work, very intensive, very expensive. There are other immunotherapies. The natural killer cell approach is nice because it's efficient. It's off the shelf. You're taking NK exosomes that are made by someone's NK cells in a lab. There are also treatments where you can use your own NK cells, but then they have to go to the lab. They have to make exosomes. Turns out those are not necessarily better than off the shelf donated ones. So, I mean, if you want the simplest thing and want it immediately, the NK exosomes are the ideal off the shelf immunoadjunct therapy.
Okay. All right. So yeah, I thought from our conversation that it's coming from your own personal body. I didn't know that it was something you get off the shelf. So that's amazing. So what that says is that these killer cells can work in anybody's biochemistry.
Correct. We've
Bi-
never seen any type of rejection because they're so naive. They have very little markers on their surface. They're neutral. The body doesn't know if you made them or someone else made them.
That's amazing. Wow. I'm thinking like a blood bank now.
Yeah.
That's probably where it's going, right?
Yeah, I mean, these, like I said, they're donated,
Yeah.
blood, and from the blood they separate out the white blood cells, and from the white blood cells they separate out the NK cells, put those in the flask with some culture mediums so they have something to eat, and those cells will then produce exosomes, and the exosomes are filtered or extracted or separated in what's called an affinity column. And those exosomes then can be accumulated in enough volume to make a dose. And that was labor and effort prohibited until the last few years. So now we have ways of getting more and more. So we have our sources in Europe where we get them. I've been chasing them down for years. We finally have some.
Nice. Wow. This is amazing. Now you said you're in California, right?
No, we're in Las Vegas,
Las
Nevada.
Vegas, sorry.
We
Cool.
left California. I used to practice in California, but they have problems. You may have heard.
All right. Okay. Wow. So the reason I asked the question, I'm wondering if it's out west or it's out east or it's out everywhere. So is it
It's everywhere. Yeah, you can
everywhere?
get these. Yeah, you can get these. I just I don't know that a lot of clinics are sourcing them. So I think we're one of the few places around in the States that have access to some. Yeah.
Wow. That is amazing. Wow. So that's why I wanted to talk to you because this is good information. Can you imagine someone that is a cancer survivor or have cancer right now or know someone that have cancer? Because what? It's a big number, right? It's a big number of people that
Oh
are
yeah.
battling
Too
this.
big. Way too big. We need to do everything we can to remove all the causes and the promoters of cancer in our diet, in our food source, in our waters, the microplastics, all this junk. And we need to also have better treatments. So, I'm trying to do both, educate people on changing things in their life and also provide them alternative treatments. I'm not here to replace chemotherapy or radiation therapy. I'm here to offer some additional or
Right.
alternatives. Yeah.
Exactly. Yes. Well, the chemotherapy is getting better. There's a time when it was really, some people prefer to die than go through it. But I think that it's gotten better. My sister, had non-Hodgkin's lymphoma, and she did not want to go through chemotherapy because she's seen what happens to people in chemotherapy. And I said to her, "Listen here, if you want to live, you better go take it."
Yeah.
And she went through it, and then it wasn't that bad, and now she's here.
Yeah.
So yeah. So
Yeah. And listen, chemotherapy is highly variable, and the response and the tolerance is highly variable. And again, you got to kill the cancer faster than you poison the person. So that's the key. Same with radiation. Radiation's very, overused in many cases, and it can cause cancer too. So you got to be really careful.
Really? Right. Yes. Wow. Okay. The next question I have here, I think you already answered. Is this treatment suitable for all cancer types? I think you said that they are. It's
So far we have been able to use it, and the publications are on such a large variety of different types that currently I'm not aware of something that it's not suitable to try on.
wow. Yeah, and I think you would know, right? Because there's like 100 and something different cancers, or there more.
Well, if you look at cancer from just the diagnostic word variety, yes. If you look at it from a genetic variety, there are thousands and thousands, right? This is
Right, yeah,
there,
thousands.
yeah.
Right, right. All different forms. So if you've not found one that it wouldn't, I mean, I was thinking that it wouldn't be for the blood cancers, and you just said that it's great for the blood cancers as well.
No,
So,
it's been
wow.
used on leukemia, lymphoma. There are good reports on this, good literature. I published a summary of all the literature in a magazine called Lifespanning, which you can find online. It was a great article. If someone listening, or you or your family member, somebody wants to read more and see the actual references from the scientific literature, please take a look at Lifespanning magazine. I wrote that last April or May this year,
Yeah, link
2024.
it. I'll link it in the show notes.
Okay.
Please, yeah. I mean, any additional information would be great. Okay. All right. So tell us about your company, ReCelebrate. That's a really interesting name.
Yeah, it is. Well, it's
Yeah.
like, listen, I practiced traditional medicine for decades, Myrna. I'm a neurosurgeon. I was fed up progressively with the sick care system and the nonsense with health insurers and how they behave, and I wanted to continue to help my patients, spend time with them, provide them alternatives, natural, fewer side effects, fewer drugs, fewer surgeries. So, I was encouraged to go into the stem cell field about 7 years ago, and I had some undergraduate training. So I kind of went back into it. I hadn't been keeping up because I went into my medical field and I've been busy, but I went back and said, wow, a lot's happened. And most of what's happened in the stem cell realm has been clinically, progressive in what we've learned in Europe and in Asia, but in the States, we're held back. We're suppressed. The powers that be, big pharma, big implant companies that want you to do surgeries, policymakers have been really putting their foot on the throat of regenerative medicine doctors. So I decided I have a Hippocratic oath. I have to do what's best for my patients, protect their access to these cutting edge therapies. And we're very upfront about them. And we don't do anything, shooting from the hip. This is all based on some, good literature. And so that's why I tap back into what's going on in that realm, and ReCelebrate is the rebirth of my clinical practice. So it's celebrating the renewal of your cells through regenerative medicine. So we have ReCelebrate. That's our clinic here in Las Vegas. Most of our patients are not in Nevada, not in Las Vegas. They're
Correct.
somewhere else. We do most of our work by video consultations. We can order tests, imaging, labs, whatever we need. And we only invite people to Las Vegas if there's something we think we can help them with for a treatment. And I do a lot of joints and spine injections with stem cell exosomes. We have really cool results. And there's great work in this area. We do IV therapies for people looking for alternatives and help with immune problems, autoimmune, over inflammation, maybe long COVID or Lyme's or something like that. And we help people recovering from a health event like a heart attack or stroke, and many other approaches depending on the issues. So we're very busy doing this sort of cutting edge regenerative medicine.
That's beautiful. Now, your email was interesting. It says, I fix spines. So, are you doing stem cells for spines? Because I know that's
Yeah.
where they were doing a lot of work. Christopher Reeves was the
Yep.
ambassador for that. You
Correct.
do that as well?
Yeah. So, as a neurosurgeon, I was a spine fellowship neurosurgeon. I mostly treated spine problems in
Okay.
my earlier in my career. And when I embarked to add regenerative stem cell and exosome medicine to my practice, I did it with the idea it would be a new tool for spine patients, you know, but it turns out it's blossomed into so much more. It's all I do now, and it's not just for the spine. But yes,
Great.
my domain is ifixspines.com. So we've been doing that. It's an old one, but it's still true. We do a lot of spine work.
Wow. So that's amazing. So we're doing spines, we're doing joints, we're doing cancer,
Yep.
we're doing immunotherapy for, I think you said, some chronic illnesses. And that's amazing. Wow. This is the research that we work. Now, does AI have anything to do with this?
We haven't used AI yet, but we see the potential to use AI to help customize the treatments and look at the different types of things going on and what's best for people and study the data, because AI is really a high level pattern recognizer, and sometimes we don't always see the pattern. So
I got it. Got
it
it. Right.
it is a helpful tool. Yeah,
Yeah. Okay. Right. I had to throw that in because it's in everything these days.
I agree. Yeah, we should throw it in.
That's amazing. Wow. Well, listen, thankfully, I have not personally been, taxed with any of these things, but I love having the hope, as I get older, um, that there's services and there's things that you guys are doing that would give us hope. I mean, it's, cancer is no longer a death sentence. That there's things that you can do to heal and recover. And this is very, very good work. So yeah, so tell our listeners how they can connect with you. Um uh, your website. I don't know if you have a different one for ReCelebrate other than the iFix clients. Social media handles so that they can connect with you.
Yeah, look us up. The word ReCelebrate is ReCellEbrate. And that's our website, recelebrate.com. It's our Instagram at ReCelebrate. It's our LinkedIn, Facebook, TikTok, Pinterest, you name it. I think we've cornered that word on the internet because we made it up and no one else seems to be really using it. So you'll find us at ReCelebrate.
Okay. Awesome. Yeah, I like that. I like that. It's a beautiful word. I mean, you're celebrating life, celebrating health, celebrating renewal. I mean, I absolutely love it. All right. Well, listen, Jeff, this has been a fantastic conversation. Thank you so much for bringing hope to me, my listeners, anyone that's battling with any kind of inflammation, chronic illness, cancer, spine, joints. Your work is covering it all. So,
Yeah.
I enjoy having you on the show. Enjoyed sharing this message to my listening audience. I will have a summary conversation of my conversation with Jeff on the show page, which is myhelps.us. And I will link out to his website. I'll link out to that article that he talked about in his social media handles. Because listen, you guys want to have more than this 45-minute conversation. You want to tap into his work and follow him and learn more on what he's doing. So thank you so much, Jeff. As we wrap up, do you have any last words?
Yes. Thank you for having me. And if you, my quick tips for living healthier longer is if you do one thing, get out there and move your muscles. They release myokines, which are peptides that stimulate the brain from wasting away and stimulate your heart and stimulate maintenance of bone density and muscle mass. All the things correlate with longevity. So get out there and exercise. Then you won't need me.
Yeah, well, I do that. Or at least I've got that one covered.
Great.
But yeah, so then I'm getting all this free stuff, all these, things that are getting rid of inflammation. So I love that. And yeah, I personally, because I have a sauna in our gym, I'm personally gonna, to get in there more often. So that was good. And yeah, maybe once in a while I'll do those strenuous exercises too.
Good. Perfect. Love it.
Yeah, so you see, I'm a learner. I talk to your experts that I come on the show, and I am learning. My brain has been exploding, and so that's amazing. So I'm learning right along with the audience, and I'm a doer. If I hear something, then I go and I do it. So thanks again for being on the show. Thank you guys for tuning in to this week's episode of Transform Your Mind so you can transform your life. This has been a stimulating conversation. If you take one thing away, you know that there is hope for you. And, it's great to peddle hope. I love that. All right. Thanks, Jeff. Thank you guys for tuning in. Until next time, namaste.
Namaste.